All right, let's go to John in Stafford, Arizona. What's up, brother John? How we doing?
Doing good. How are you, Dr. Delony?
We're rocking on, man, to the break of dawn. What's up, dude? How can I help?
So I read your book, Redefining Anxiety, and I really liked it. There's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Thanks, man.
The question I have, though, is about you talk about your body's warning signals throughout the book. And I personally have a hard time turning off those signals.
Oh, very cool, man.
I do pretty good at talking myself through situations and understanding when anxiety hits. But even when sometimes when I resolve a problem and I forget about the problem, I still feel that anxiety in me and I still feel like something's wrong, like my body's in danger.
Yeah, dude. Good for you, man. So, number one, thanks for reading the book. And number two, man, you are in it now. So you're thinking through, so your body takes off on you, or you find yourself in a situation to beat the metaphor to death. You're identifying these alarms. Are you able to look at your overall ecosystem and say, oh, here's what those alarms are trying to tell me?
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay. So give me a couple of examples of things you've found.
The one that comes to mind the most when I think about it is if I get something wrong at work or something, my boss will come and tell me about it, and he's like a saint about it. He always is talking to me, well, moving forward, we're going to do this better, and he's sure to tell me, like, I'm okay and everything. But it's still, like, even when that resolves and I know that everything's okay, it just lingers there with me throughout the day.
All right, so that is a great example, dude. Just for my own curiosity, has anyone told you, shown you in your past that you suck?
I mean, yeah.
Did your mom, dad, brother, sister remind you on none of them? They were good?
No. I was bullied in elementary school quite a bit.
Okay. So here's, and again, you and I could probably talk for a couple of hours on the trajectory and the history there. Here's a cool thing to note about your body. Okay, so your boss comes in and says, hey, you didn't do this right. And for 100 reasons, whether it's stories you're born into, whether it's stories you've told yourself, whether it's stories that people all the way back as elementary school were telling you about your value, you're a loser, you're an idiot, you always screw this up, whatever those stories are. Your body detects a threat. It sees a bear at the front of the cave where you're living. And it has an old operating system, man. It's got fight it or run away from it. And that's about it. It can, if he realizes I can't fight it, I can't run away from it, I'll just go to neutral. I'll shut this thing off, right? I'll shut the system down. You may have heard that called freeze, right? But your boss can come look you in the eye and say, man, I love you. I'm so glad you work here. Your boss can come tell you, hey, you screwed this one up, man, with a smile on his face, but we got to get this one better next time. I need you to step up and do this right. At that point, your body is gone into fight or flight because it's got a history. It remembers this story when somebody come up and told you you are not of value, right? You don't have worth. And then he looks at you and says, hey, you are on my team. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. And now we're on to the next thing. Your body still has to deal with the cortisol and the adrenaline and the heart race, right? Your body is taking off on you. And what we don't have a good system in our modern world is what to do with that. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's just there. So there's a couple of things I want to give you to back out of this. So we're going to approach this two ways. Number one, what do you do when your body detects a threat, even though there's no threat in your vicinity, right? So we can deal with that. The other thing I want to do is begin to teach my body what is a threat and what's not. Does that make sense? We're going to just reteach it. It's gonna literally grow new synapses and new brain connections in my head. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is turn off a lot of the signaling stuff. So here's a couple of ideas. I'm gonna rattle these off just for the sake of time, and you can keep this this call, keep it in your library, man. And we will link to the stuff in the show notes. And but I want you to write this stuff down eventually and keep it as a playbook for yourself. Okay. So will you work with me for 30 days on this? Will you give yourself 30 days, 60 days to start reconnecting teaching your body new things?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So number one, no Monster drinks or Red Bulls or anything like that. Is that cool?
Already done.
All right, great. Are you a coffee guy?
No.
So you're like a no caffeine dude. No Cokes, anything like that?
I have my Dr. Pepper every once in a while, but that's about it.
Okay, you get 2 of those for the next 30 days. How about that? Okay?
Okay.
All right. The second thing is tell me about your friends community. Do you have any folks that you connect with on a regular basis?
There's my wife and her family.
They don't count.
We go and connect. Yeah. Just my friends at work, and I have a couple of friends that I talk to every once in a while.
All right, so new responsibility. Checklist number. So number one, you're going to cut out the stimulant stuff, right? We are working towards this. So I have folks who, for years, my students would come in and be like, man, I'm so anxious all the time. I only had 7 Red Bulls and 4 Monster energy drinks today. Well, it's like, dude, you're not, your heart is beating 1,000 miles. So we're getting rid of that stuff. We're going to really dial back sugar consumption. Candy, junk food, just stuff we're ripping out of packages and just shoving in our face, okay? We're going to give our body a good system to work with. The second thing is we are going to double down on relationships. So your job is to get with a couple of guys and go do a thing once a week at minimum. And that can be going to an arcade, that can be going to a bar, that can be, I don't care what y'all do, but I want you to go get with a couple of guys. And it's going to be awkward, and it's going to be weird, and you don't have to have any agenda or anything like that. Y'all just go hang out, okay? That could be asking people at work that you trust to like, hey, let's just go hang out. We're going to go to a movie. We're going to go whatever, concert, whatever. I don't care what it is, but y'all got to go do something. Go bowling. Go do something, okay? The third thing, do you ever exercise, work out, or anything like that?
Not a whole lot. My work is pretty labor intensive, but not anything more than that.
Okay, so starting today, you've got some sort of movement practice that's going to also, if you can, be outside. Okay, so if you work a really labor-intensive job, if you're slinging boxes all day, then I want you to make sure in the mornings you go for a walk. In the evenings after dinner, as a postprandial glucose, I want you to go for a long walk. And I'd love for you to take your wife with you on this one, or your dog. And I want you all to go for a long walk together. And I want you to go slow. And I want you to breathe deep. And what we're doing here, man, is we are cycling that excess energy out of our bodies. Okay? That pent up, it's all there. We're letting it roll. Okay? The next thing I want you to do you keep any sort of gratitude journal at all?
Not written down, no.
You do now. Starting today, before bed. I want you to get, on your way home from work, I want you to stop at like Walgreens or Walmart or something, 99 cents, pick up a spiral notebook. And I want you to write at the top of it, gratitude journal. And I want you to write 5 things before you go to bed that start with the words, I am grateful for. And I don't care what you put in there. I'm grateful for. Mine this morning, I'm working on a book, so I was up late. So I looked at my sleep tracker and had like 4 hours of sleep last night. My first thing was, I'm grateful for my air-conditioned house. It's hot in Nashville. And I'm grateful for my air conditioning. I was grateful for my kids and my wife. I was grateful for my faith community and my friend, right? So whatever it is, at night, 5 things. And since you're working on your body, I want you to do it in the morning too. So the first thing you do when you wake up, I'm grateful for. At night, I am grateful for 5 things, okay? You got it?
Okay.
Now, here's the next most important thing. I want you to have another spiral. And when your body takes off on you, I want you to use language that is third person. And I want you to be curious. Have fun with this. And I know that sounds nuts. And listen, I've been doubled over insane with anxiety. So I get what I'm saying sounds bananas. But I want you to be intentional about being curious and have fun. And I want you to ask this question. John, what's your body doing? And I want you to write down your answers. What is it protecting you from? In that tone of voice, okay? And I don't want you to say, what am I trying to... There's actually different brain circuits. When you say the words I, my, there is I'm in it. There's a set of brain circuits. When you are distant from it, there's a different set of brain circuits that work on that problem. It's why somebody can come up to you and say, hey man, I'm really feeling anxious. And you, John, can rattle off 5 or 6 things they need to go do. But when you're feeling anxious, it locks down on you, right? Or when somebody asks you, hey, what's a way my wife could, you give all that kind of answers. But then when your wife does it, you're like, oh, I don't know. Because one of those circuits is when you're in it and the other is when you're distant from it. It's a great book by Eric Kropp, I think, called Chatter. It's a quick book, but it was excellent about talking about how do you distance yourself. So I want you to write down, hey, John, what's your body trying to tell you? What is it scared of right now? It's probably going to come back to a story you've told yourself for a long time that you're a loser, that you're going to screw something up, that everyone doesn't like you, that you're a failure, that you're always an idiot. And it's probably going to come back to bullying in high school. It's going to come back to some coach. It's going to come back to a mom or a dad who should have told you they loved you and they didn't, whatever that looks like. But that's how you're going to begin to unwind those stories. What's my body trying to tell me? Hey, John, what's your body trying to tell you right now? Oh, that I'm going to get fired. And then the final thing is I want you to demand evidence from those things. Okay? I just want you to ask, hey, John, is that true? Then you can go, no, it's not true, John. He told you. I love having you on this team, right? I love having you on this team. So grateful for that you're here. But hey, we can't throw boxes like that. We got to do it like this next time. Love being married to you, man. But man, will you please take the trash out? Every alarm goes off. Ah, she's going to leave. Ah, she's just nagging. Oh, hey, John, what is your body trying to tell you? Oh, that I failed my wife. Is that true? No, it's not. I need to take the trash out. Or I'm failing my wife. Yeah, I need to take the trash out. Right, whatever it is. But get some distance from it and write it down. And one last thing, while you're at Walgreens, grab a package of note cards and just write out your morning whenever you're about to leave for work. Here's what I got to do today. Keep a small note card with you. Just put it in your pocket. You can go spend $1,000 on one of those planners with like 500 ribbons in it. Enough with the ribbon planners, people. You can go get one of those, or you can just get a note card. That's what I use. I got 2 in my pocket right now because I didn't finish everything from yesterday. And so get a note card, and that's control, right? So going back to connection, safety, and control. And then you're just going to start pulling apart those stories, man. But you, my brother, are on the right track. Those are a few simple things you can do. If you feel your body spin out on you, once you're your boss is left, go outside and go for a walk for a minute in the sunshine. Go for a walk. If you want to be a nerd about it, take your shoes off and walk in the grass. I was doing that the other day here at the office, and somebody took a picture of me. Several people took pictures of me, and they're like, hey, you look like a weirdo. But I'll go walk in the grass barefoot, right? And that's a whole other podcast. But and breathe through it. Whew, and just be curious. What are you trying to protect me from right now? And there's something about not fighting. Letting your body know, we're not fighting. We're not running. What are you doing? And often your body will go, oh, you're in control. Okay, cool. And it will stop that system. And then you got to discharge the cortisol, the adrenaline, all those chemicals, all that energy that's been fired up in there, right? We're running on old operating systems. And then, of course, sleep, man. You know all that stuff, sleep and supplements and partridge in a pear tree. That's another thing. That's enough to keep you busy. After 30 days, I want you to write me back. Call me back. And you can call back, dude, and say, all that stuff was stupid. None of that worked. It will. But call me back.